Hello, and welcome, patrons. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means the world to me. As I always say, without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you. I wanted to do something special in addition to what my subscribers or my viewers get. So for you all, as part of the new series, books my boyfriend gave me, I'm doing reading vlogs for all of the books I read as part of that series. So the first book up, you guys have heard me talk about this before, but I've decided to finally go into this. It's actually called The Insider. Kingdom Keepers is a series title, even though it's much bigger than the book title. And we've got all of these stickers on it because John got it from a used bookstore. This is written by Ridley Pearson, and this is book 7 in the series. Yes, the last book in the series. Yes, I'm reading it first, and we'll see how it goes. I'm actually filming this after I finished it, as you can tell, because I realized I hadn't filmed an introduction for this yet. So you can see all of my tabs. These blue tabs are all new characters that we're being introduced to in this book. Obviously, a lot of these characters are introduced in previous books, but this is new in this book. Since I haven't read the rest of the books yet, they're new to me. And the pink tabs are quotes that I've written down. So, without further ado, let's just get right into this. So, I guess one last note to make before we get into this that's kind of maybe semi-important to keep in mind while listening to me talk about this book is that this is a middle grade book. For ages 10 to 11. So I don't know if he knew that when he picked it for me. He said this was the biggest book they had in the store, and he thought it would keep me busy for a while. So we'll see how it goes. I don't have a lot of experience with middle grade books, but I'm actually really intrigued by this premise. So we'll see. So I read, there's like this little note before we get started in the actual book. As I've said before, this is the last book in this series. And the author wrote this little note about this book. And something that's really interesting to me that I learned from this note is that he essentially opened up the writing of this book to fans. What's his name? I can't remember again. Ridley Pearson, along with Disney, and Hyperion, who was Disney and Hyperion published this series together. They went and created this app and this website where fans could come and the author would post an outline for a chapter each week, and the registered users of this app and website were able to weigh in on where they thought the chapter should go, what they thought of the chapter, and he even put out writing challenges for these people. And some of the pieces that these fans, he calls them the insiders, wrote actually made it into the published edition. And he has little notes where it's the fans writing versus his writing, and he has, their usernames noted at the bottom. And a lot of them are kids because this is middle grade, and he said that some of the kids and their parents approved using their real names, so he noted those in the back of the book. And I'm just really excited to see how this turns out, because this is the first idea that's actually been implemented that I've heard of. It could have been done before, and I just don't know about it because I don't know about a lot of things in the book world. I know like a lot of writers have thought about this and wanted to do it but haven't actually done it. But this guy actually did it, and he said like at one point they had like 150,000 regular visitors to the website and like 50,000 registered users. That's just amazing. People from all across the world, he said. So I'm really excited to see how this turned out. Just starting chapter 1 now. Straight off, this is a great first line. She has been called many things. The Black Mamba, Calypso, Tia Dalma, and worse, much worse. What a fantastic first line to start off a book. I love it. I'm already hooked. Let's go. Let's do it. So chapter 1 is done in Kingdom Keepers, The Insider. So I'm guessing once I go back and read the rest of this series, a lot of what I just read is going to make a lot more sense. And therefore, this is not going to make a lot of sense right now, but we'll do the best that we can. So we start off this book, book 7, in essentially a dungeon. That's essentially a jail, a prison, and we're with this unknown person who's locked in here. I'm guessing because of the tone of the writing, this is supposed to be like a Disney villain, or one that maybe we don't even know about yet. She is an evil witch. We know that she's got magic because it tells us that. And she's started digging her way through a tunnel. And what she discovers in this tunnel is Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty in her dragon form, dead. Apparently a boy has killed Maleficent and the dead body is there. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's something that we've just learned or that we learned in previous books, but this is interesting. So we'll see where this goes. I'll check in with you again soon. A couple more chapters in chapter 2 to chapter 3. We're starting to get more characters now. It's a little confusing because it's the last book in the series, so I don't know if we're supposed to know all these people yet or not. In chapter 2, we met Bert, who is an old security guard and supposedly has been at the Disney archives forever, and he says he worked with Walt Disney himself. And then we meet Wayne Kresge, who's an Imagineer who essentially helped build Walt Disney World. He's a legend. And then we get, at the very end of the 4-page chapter, we get Flying Brooms, which is a hint and an homage to Fantasia. In chapter 3, we meet some more new characters. This is a senior prom at Disney World. We meet Finn Whitman and Amanda Lockhart, who are Disney hologram hosts. They're seniors in high school at their prom, and Finn is apparently part of this group of kids who's supposed to be helping keep the Disney parks safe from the evil at night, to keep magic alive. And trouble is a brewing now, and we have also learned, we kind of learned a little bit of the, background kind of these Disney holograms, where essentially Finn and his friends go to sleep and then they get transported into these holograms. We don't really get a big explanation of it, but that's essentially what happens. And this guy, Wayne Kresge, is the brains behind this. He's the boss of them. He created this idea, and so when he calls, they go. So now trouble's a brewing, and apparently Disney World needs these kids to come and help and save it. So we'll see what happens from here. So y'all are getting this raw. I haven't even taken a shower yet. As you can tell, I still have like crazy bedhead. But I've been reading in bed my 3 books now that I'm reading. And I just thought I'd check in on the Kingdom Keepers, The Insider. So I've got 2 more chapters down. And so going forward, I guess our evil witch person, we're referring to her as let me see my notes, Tia Dalma. And we've learned now that she does kind of voodoo magic, black magic. She's escaped from this prison that she was in, and now she's in like this jungle with like catacombs and tunnels that, like, I think maybe she's in Central America. It mentions Central America, but it says like in Central America, so I have no idea if, but then she speaks Spanish, so I have no idea if she's actually in Central America or just a place like it. And then she's now looking to free the beast. And so we learn of her voodoo magic with, voodoo dolls, and it says that her magic, the only people that are not susceptible to this magic, that don't give in to the magic, are the Kingdom Keepers, these teenagers that are fight to keep the magic in Disney in the Disney archives. So that's a little suspicious. Yeah, that's what I've learned so far. So we'll see what happens going forward. So I'm back into our lovely book here, and we're in chapter 8. Our heroes have been made their like hologram journey, and there's a reference to Princess and the Frog, which I thought maybe Tia Dalma was like the one of the bad guys in that, but then I did some research and Tia Dalma was in Pirates of the Caribbean. So I'm not sure where they're going with this, because they say there's racing demons, possibly from the Haunted Mansion, more likely Princess and the Frog. Dr. Facilier and his, quote, friends on the other side, end quote, makes one think of New Orleans and therefore Tia Dalma. But when I looked up Tia Dalma, everything came up as Pirates of the Caribbean, so no idea what that was. I might have to do some more research and see. Tia Dalma, Princess and the Frog, we'll see. But just thought I'd check in and say we're in the action now. So at long last, we've got some action going now. In chapter 8, our heroes did their little hologram thing, and they fought off wraiths and demons and the Fantasia buckets and brooms. The buckets were filled with acid and fire. And then Wayne, who we met earlier, steals a manila folder that was labeled Fantasia, so there's mystery there. And then in the next chapter, we're back with Tia Dalma, and we learn that she can like talk to and control all of the animals and essentially the earth. And she wakes up, she frees what's referred to as the beast, but also Chernob and the evil queen, and we get this delicious quote about the evil queen. The evil queen's blood has turned to venom. I am starting to really enjoy this now, so I can't wait to read more and check in again soon. Kids' book is getting a little spooky. Finn and Willa, 2 of our teenage fighters holograms, they just met Flotsam and Jetsam from The Little Mermaid. They're at the Little Mermaid ride out in California. And that was creepy, because they are eels, and they were on land like snakes. And then someone that, I don't know yet, I don't know if we're supposed to know this person or not, but I've kind of given up trying to figure that out, because this is the last book, and I won't know until I read the other books. But this person's name is Story, and she saved them with a trident. So, yep, shit's going down. Now we're back to Charlene and Maybeck, who are in the Haunted Mansion. And there is something coming from the trapdoor, so we'll see what that is. Things are starting to get really interesting here. So I've read several chapters. For a while, it was just them planning stuff and doing stuff, but not really a lot to check in on. I did get 2 quotes that I want to talk about. So the first one is from chapter 17, and that says, "The professor is the final arbiter of what is and is not considered stupid." And the professor is essentially one of the students. I think in a previous book we get the joke about why they call him the professor. I'm guessing because he's super smart and likes to explain things to everyone. But he's one of the teenagers. He's one of the kids. He's not, I don't think he's really older than anyone, as far as age-wise, but maturity maybe, intelligence definitely. And that just made me laugh. And then the second quote comes from chapter 18, which is a big chapter, not in length, but in what happens. So first of all, the quote that I have from this chapter says, "Friendship is an elusive, gooey thing. It shrinks with the cold, expands in the heat. It has ways of vanishing right before your eyes, or of appearing out of nowhere." And I just want to take this moment to say thank y'all for being my friends. I consider you guys all friends and family, and y'all are the best, so thank you. And so then, but also in this chapter, we get some new characters. Well, new to this book. I think we've met these characters in previous books, but as you know, I've started from the last book in the series, so they're new to us so far, but they're definitely not new to the world, and I definitely know them, and I was excited. So first we have a battle with Jafar and Iago from Aladdin, and this is amazing because it's like everything in Jafar's powers that he can do. We see he uses his staff to try to manipulate the boys. This is Finn and Maybeck, and he turns himself into a giant cobra. And then Raja, who was Princess Jasmine's pet tiger and protector, comes to save them and does battle with him, and he tries to turn himself into a weasel, and that doesn't work, and they finally escape. And it was so exciting because it was the excitement of the scene, but also the excitement of these characters that I knew and I've grown up with, and it was just so exciting. I'm starting to really enjoy this book once I got over, it's not the greatest writing I've read, so once I got over that and got over the fact that it's the last book and I have no idea what happened in the previous books and what I should know about and what I shouldn't, I'm starting to really enjoy this book. So we'll see where it goes. I think I'm about not even halfway, I guess. Looks like maybe a quarter of the way through, so we'll see what happens. Okay, y'all, so it's been a little bit since I checked in. I haven't gotten a lot of reading done this week, but I'm back to reading now. I actually made coffee tonight, so maybe I can stay awake a little bit longer to read. In The Insider, The Kingdom Keepers, number 7, I think I'm about halfway through now, and holy cow, Wayne has just told Finn through an earpiece that the Overtakers, the villains, have destroyed Mickey Mouse and almost all of his magic. And I think he was hinting at the original drawing that Walt Disney made of Mickey Mouse that must still exist somewhere, that Finn and the other keepers have to find. And now things are starting to get really interesting. We know that there's going to be some kind of a betrayal within the keepers group. Wayne swears it's not him, it'll never be him, so now Finn has to figure that out too, and it's getting really interesting. Hey y'all, just a quick update on Insider Kingdom Keepers book 7. So I'm still making my way through here. I'm a little bit further than halfway, and we just had a death that happened. Not a bad guy death, not a villain death. Wayne, who is essentially the guy that set up the Kingdom Keepers, from what I can gather, was killed by Tia Delama, and the villain from Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And we've also now met Cruella de Vil and the Weasels from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So all chaos is ensuing now. The Keepers are back in, the real world, essentially. They're not holograms anymore. They went back, and now they're trying to figure out what is going on, what Wayne meant in his secret message to Finn, and how to save the magic at the Disney parks. So this is starting to get interesting again. I can't wait to see where this goes, because this is, for a middle grade book, this is a big book. But it reads quickly. They're pretty short chapters, so I hope to make a good dent in this by this weekend and finish this up this coming week. I hope you can hear me over this fan. It's gotten really warm here, so I had to put the fans on. I just finished some reading sprints with some of my patrons today, and that was super fun. During those reading sprints, I got some more of the Insider read, and I wanted to update you on something. So we had Wayne's memorial. Finn possibly killed Cruella before that. I think I updated you on Tia Dama planning an earthquake with fracking. Chapter 42, we meet a character that we've heard a lot about before, and that's Dillard, who was one of the Kingdom Keepers. He was a friend, the friend that supposedly Finn was tricked into killing. So it turns out that Dillard's parents kind of lobbied the Disney people to create his hologram based off of old videos and memories of him. So even though he's physically dead, his hologram still lives on, and his hologram has all of the encyclopedia knowledge. It's got all of the knowledge of the internet, essentially, and it's helping Finn and the kids, the gang, figure out this riddle that they've got to figure out, essentially, to save the Disney magic. And they figured out the secret code was part of an old Egyptian story, myth. And there's a old drawing of Mickey, like one of the first originals, that they believed was the Undertaker's, the Overtaker's ripped up and spread apart so no one can find it. But in the last chapter that I read, we actually meet Minnie Mouse and Violet from The Incredibles, and Minnie Mouse essentially speaks through Violet and says essentially that it wasn't the Overtakers that ripped it up, it was Minnie, because Mickey told her to, and Wayne, that's how, so the Overtakers wouldn't get it. And that's where we're at now. It's getting really exciting, about 70% of the way through, so I'm hoping to really finish it up soon. And yep, that's it. So Finn and Violet from The Incredibles fought Ursula for the last piece of the Mickey drawing, and then they realized that it was hidden under a tree that Walt gave to his wife, who then gave to Disney World. So they got the last piece of Mickey. The others got the other 12 pieces. They had this big elaborate scene. They put it all together and used so there's a magic pen that I think I forgot to talk about, that was Walt's pen, that draws whatever, brings to life whatever you draw. So they used the magic pen to bring Mickey back to life. This is getting so exciting. So Mickey comes back to life, and all of the Disney characters are standing on the edge of the forest, and just waving to him and celebrating him, and he's like the king returned to his land, and it's just getting so special. I've got like 50 pages left. I'm definitely gonna finish it today, but holy cow, this book is so interesting. I definitely want to go back and read the rest of this series before the last book. Totally different than anything I've ever read before. Things are starting to pick up now. Finn just sacrificed himself to defeat Chernabog, and things are getting really crazy. I'm not sure if he's actually dead or not. I don't trust that he's actually dead, though the characters think he is. So we've got about maybe 20 pages left, and I'm going to finish this up before lunch because I can't stop now. I have finished. I have to go get lunch because I'm starving now. My stomach is grumbling, but holy cow, that was an ending like no other. Mickey restored the kingdom, saved Finn. Finn is alive. They've discovered that there's a last message that Wayne left them in the music box in Walt's apartment, and Tiadama is still alive underground and has just resurrected something from a whole bunch of parts. That was insane. I need to go think about that, and I hope y'all enjoyed this vlog. This is so much fun to do, and I can't wait to do more.